6 months ago, this is me. Oh, yes. Right. I forgot why we don't play this matchup. Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, listen. We can't be this mad. I could calm down. It's okay. I have one base.
Hello, my pal Sal. How are we?
How is this possible?
I hear sounds of pain, or are we okay?
I'm not okay, Ronnie. How is this a thing that exists? Maybe it's just the best for everybody if I never play this ever again. I don't know what to say. I don't understand. After I cooled down a little bit, I vowed not to read or look at or even hear anything about StormGate again till it was actually out. I constantly asked my chat to just, we'll look at it again at 1.0. Now, to prep for this review, I went all out for you guys. Okay, I played the campaign on normal, and I played it on brutal, and I got all of the achievements. Now here we are. StormGate is out of early access, and it's in version 1.0. Or the campaign is 1.0, and the multiplayer is 0.6. Or we're done with numbered patches, and now it's Necrolite. And the co-op is in Sigma Labs, and the editor is in Limbo, and 3v3 is soon TM, and...
Give me the rundown. What next? Light steps.
Wait, didn't we just kill this? Look, I don't care much for Frost Giant's marketing, but from what I understand, the campaign is done. So by golly gosh, we're gonna review this thing. We're gonna review the crap out of it. Unlike the last video I did, which, if you made it through the entire 2 hours, you're a goddamn legend, by the way. This one's actually gonna be a lot more positive. But just like the last one, I do have a giant list of grievances. Don't you worry. And that list is not short. But as far as gameplay goes, I honestly think that the StormGate campaign gets more right than it gets wrong. For the most part, we're going to be passing over things like graphics, unit design, sound design, and the more detailed nitpicks. This is because I'll be doing a second video when I'm done grinding the 1v1. I'll talk about those things there. I really want to kind of stay focused on the campaign here, so unless unit design and graphics actually affect the campaign missions themselves, I'm not really going to mention them. I'll be giving each mission an out of 10 grade, where 10 is essentially that I had a lot of fun and I noticed no issues, glaring or minor. An 8 means that I had quite a bit of fun, but there are minor issues. A 5 would be I had some fun, but there's significant notable issues. I'd say around a 3 or 4 we're having, almost no fun, and all I'm noticing are issues. Where a 1 would be unplayable hot garbage. Now reviewing StormGate at this point, bit of a complicated ask. See, the baggage is starting to add up, so I'm going to spend most of this review strictly talking about the game and trying not to talk about Frost Giant themselves. I don't really care what any developer says they're going to do, or what they say they want to do, and I don't really care if they tell me that their roadmap is going to lead me to El Dorado.
The trail that we blaze!
I care about what we can buy and play right now. Crazy. Okay, that was absolutely a good campaign mission. It's not the best campaign mission I've ever played, but it's pretty not bad. In a weird narrative twist, we're going to start with the strongest part of the campaign first, the final 6 missions. The last time I played this campaign, there were only 6 missions, and there was only one that really stood out to me, and it wasn't really interesting. It was just harder than all the rest.
Our base is under attack. Our forces are under attack.
I think this is kind of the way. Dude,
Our
like,
base is under attack.
you're microing on 3 fronts.
Our forces are under attack.
Barkley,
Oh
hold the
god. Oh god. Oh my god, that was insane. Now this time around, there are 12 total missions, and there's quite a few to write home about. I'll try to keep things spoiler-ish free, but if you really want to be spoiler adverse, I just go straight to the recommendation. All right, kicking things off with mission 7. Solid mission. It's clearly inspired by Brood War and StarCraft 2. We're flying in with our initial battalion of units, and then we're taking out some towers, and we're making our way through the level from there. So this is a multi-phase mission, and it was pretty interesting on normal difficulty, but playing on brutal felt like a proper challenge. Building the intended units like actually feels like a requirement in this one, and one of the achievements almost 100% necessitates that you have in fact played the mission before. This is also one of the few missions that feels like it's substantially more fun if you actually use the intended units abilities at the beginning of the game instead of just grinding the mission out, because there's a lot of missions where I just built whatever I wanted, which is usually just exos and lancers, and we just walk through the map no matter what. Yeah, I'd give this mission a solid like 8.5 out of 10. I think my only minor complaint is really that there's like a platforming section. You move 2 platforms around and they kind of gun stuff down. And this is very much based on something that I've seen in Wings of Liberty. And in this, it just feels kind of like a fun gimmick. I would have liked to see it get used more, but still fun. So mission 8 is actually a revamp of the only good mission that I felt that they had the first time around. And this one, there's a solid difference between normal and brutal, and getting all of the achievements is quite difficult and interesting as well. Yeah, killing all of the units that you need to kill in order to get the achievement on brutal or on normal is actually kind of difficult. It almost necessitates that you're willing to do it on brutal in order to try to get that. And playing through the map, like, you don't necessarily have to set up in like the same way. It's not obvious how to do it. I chose to go for like a unit-based approach. And I know several Twitch chatters were talking about how they actually did stuff completely with static defense. And I like missions like that where I can set up in multiple ways and I have many different ways to play. I don't have to play super statically in order to do what I need to do. Yeah, for me, this mission's like a solid 8.5 out of 10. I feel like the end waves could have been a little bit more impactful, but it was pretty difficult. Like I had a pretty good go of it. I think like the actual thing for me that brings it down to an 8.5 and not higher than that is that you can actually do damage to the spawners that are sending enemies your way. They catch you with the gimmick. Like, you can't actually kill them fully. You can only kill them down to like 25% health, and then they just keep spawning. Like, I really would have liked it if they set up, you know, around the spawners so you can work your way through and then you can actually turn them off if you want to, but it's a really big challenge to be able to do so. And I think there's actually a perfectly good opportunity for some achievements there or something like that. So mission 9 is interesting. It's a tight mission and it's going to be really difficult to be able to get the objectives and do the achievements at exactly the same time. I think I spent probably the most time on this mission, or maybe actually, yeah, probably just did spend the most time on this mission. I can almost guarantee you that if you're going for 100% here for all of the achievements, you're doing this mission more than one time. Civilians, they spawn instantly and can get mowed down instantly.
Too many people are dying.
You prick! Oh my Christ. Please stop walking to your death. Please stop walking.
Too many
Where? Wait, who is dying?
people are dying.
Oh my god, there's a whole other So, if you don't actually know their positions in advance, and you're not in the right position to be able to defend them, you can just lose, like, immediately. Even if you're just playing it through on brutal, the challenge is escalated. I lost more than one time just trying to beat the mission on brutal. This is a solid 8.5 out of 10 mission for me. I think if they wanted the full 10, they just have to be clear about where civilians are spawning, maybe how many, when they're going to spawn as well, and giving you just like a little bit more grace, because it really felt like it was like nothing was happening and then civilians dead. And it was like really fast. This is actually the only mission that Twitch chatters came in and they didn't complain about anything aside from how hard it was. So mission 10 is a bit of a weak point, and I think rather than discuss the mission as a whole, we're just going to talk about this stupid thing. So the Desolator just represents like really underwhelming design. The thing doesn't scale with you, and the units that are meant to protect it, they don't push with it. So like the threat never really goes up as the mission goes on. Sure, there are waves and they get stronger as the mission goes on, but they don't push with the Desolator. The big Chad Desolator just goes across the map alone. It just attacks with this unbelievably pitiful beam. Like, it only has proper defenses at its spawn point, and the game just makes it out to be like a bigger threat than it actually is. It's like a 7 out of 10 mission for me. So mission 11, also known as the Canadian Summer, is a mission that's actually grown on me the more that I've thought about it. There's actually several ways to play this mission. You can try to cheese it, but it's like pretty tight to try and do that. Or you can build up like a reasonably sized army on all 3 of the bases, or you can just try and do it on just 2 of the bases, but you're resource starved kind of either way. So it makes for a pretty interesting challenge. It's a solid guard the point style mission, and the worst thing about it is if you're trying to do the achievements, you have to like run around the entire edge of the entire map to try and hunt down all of the debris. And Amara yelling at you after you step into the toxic zone like every single time is kind of annoying.
Anyone outside the neutralizer's protective radius will die. I'm all prepped.
For real?
What next?
It really is one of the more fun missions here, especially if you play it on brutal and especially if you choose not to take the 3rd expansion. I gotta give it a 9 out of 10. I just had a lot of fun, and the issues that I found were just really minor. This mission does harbor a pretty annoying bug though, and it's not necessarily the mission's fault, but it's a problem with the inventory system overall. See, the resources that you have to collect off the ground from the debris, they're actually items. And this late into the campaign, your item slots are full up. So every time I want to pick up minerals, I have to drop items. You know, I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about the item system. So at first I thought it was going to be integral to gameplay. You know, the first mission, I had to use the heals a lot. So I thought like, oh man, like these items that I get are going to be really important. But as the game goes on, I found that my inventory was just mostly filled with passives. And I didn't even bother to equip the other heroes with anything. And then I went almost the entire game without realizing that items of the same type don't stack. You can only use one at a time, but you can still carry multiple items of the same type in your inventory. I don't think I missed the lesson on items. It's actually a problem that I noticed a lot in this campaign. Tutorialization's like super uneven. Early on, there's like little to no instruction, and then somehow later on, there's still instruction over that I've seen ages ago. Probably my biggest personal gripe and my biggest personal hatred from this section is just that these tooltips persist even on brutal, where I should be able to escape being handheld. Like, we're on brutal. Hey, dip, can we stop with the tooltips? Yeah, that's it. This is becoming a major criticism. I don't even care if I can turn this off. Guys, it's called brutal. For Christ's sake. Anyway, Mission 12, the big finale, the last hurrah, the final thing that your dollars are going to let you see in this StormGate campaign. The ending of this mission really makes me want to give it a 1 out of 10. But that'd be super unfair, because the mission overall is actually solid. There's multiple phases, optional paths to reduce difficulty, which means that you can choose to make it harder on yourself by not taking them. The waves get progressively stronger, they're relatively frequent, there's good atmosphere. Honestly, you'd think this level has it all. It's a solid 8.5 out of 10, till the end in my opinion. I mean, that is of course if you admit the Deus Ex Machina that you get at the start of the mission. But then, you know what? I cover it later. Just remember how upset I am right now.
Oh, hey, I've been naming some new fungal species and thought you'd like my latest. Agaricus nasare.
Oh my god, he named it after me! You're so cringe.
You named a mushroom after me.
Debatable that it's even a mushroom, but yes, in honor of you, my lady.
So this section of the review, I'm going to spoil a bit more. I won't go too deep into the plot yet, but it's kind of required just to really illustrate the issues with the first half. The first half of the campaign starts reasonably strong. It does go downhill pretty quickly. Mission 1 is a decent, reasonably polished hero mission. There's a bit of a difficulty spike at the beginning of the mission. I actually died once. I saw that Loco died at least once. Many people told me they died at least once. But after you're done there, you should cruise right through to the next mission. Getting the achievements on this was a little bit tedious because of how difficult it was to find, but solid romp. I'd say a 6 out of 10. It's just that it starts off like way harder than the rest of the mission, which is really weird. It's mission 2 though, where the cracks just really start to show. On normal, the map clears extremely easily. You don't really need to build or do anything. And the bonus objective's super easy. But I mean, it's normal. On brutal though, there's like little to no scaling. The second base feels completely optional. And despite the slightly harder to kill groups, we eventually just waltz directly through to the end of the map. And this begins a very worrying trend. And the trend is basically that we get about midway through the level and the difficulty kind of ramps up and then it just drops precipitously off a cliff. And then the rest of the mission is just a walk in the park. You simply have like way too many units and the waves are just completely mismatched for the amount of stuff you have. And the final groups of units are also just extremely easy. But I mean, it's only mission 2, right? That aside, the mission also teases us with the idea that there are persistent objectives, things that will give us more of something the more we collect. In this case, it's the mushrooms. What ends up happening though is that they're addressed in the hub world in the following mission, and then you just never see them again.
Milady?
I guess it's a pretty good time to complain about one of my major grievances I have with this campaign. It's the mission structure. In order to replay each mission, you have to redo the hub world section beforehand as well. When completing the campaign, I wasn't sure whether or not I got the bonus credits for my current playthrough when I went back and did it a second time, which you have to do in order to get all the achievements, or if my new playthrough was what persists. So all of the persistent upgrades require the same credits that you also get for the units. And it's not clear necessarily what gives those credits. It's never really outlined. So, in the case of our magic mushrooms here, I don't know if collecting them on normal persisted when I went back to get the achievement and playing it again on brutal and then continued from there.
Milady?
What's ridiculous is that this was solved literally 15 years ago by StarCraft, okay? Just let me pull up the individual missions and retry them, giving me the opportunity to go back for the achievements without messing up my story progression. I guess alternatively, I could just, save before the end of a mission on normal and then resume from that save once I got the achievement on brutal, right? Right, guys? Right?
More people are dead.
Where?
We need to do better.
What? What? Oh my god, I left the ones that are
Nothing gonna slow me down.
Have you considered saving before? Yo, I considered it, and then the Frost Giant dev said, go f yourself. We haven't invented that yet. Anyway, 3 out of 10. Mission 3 is just very similar to 2 in its poorly constructed pacing. The first half is just substantially harder than the back half. Once you've rescued all the turrets and built up a reasonable force, you're gonna have absolutely no trouble annihilating your way through to the end. They try with like a cheeky little chase down section at the end, but you're never really in any danger. It's just the same curve as last time. We get halfway through the mission and it just falls off. This mission also has like one of the most ridiculous visual bugs in the game where like the infernal structures are kind of grayed out and look like they're on top of the mist or like the other lighting effects on the map. Yeah, this looks really bad. I couldn't tell you what. Yeah, it looks like there's a mist, but it applies to the unit models, not to like above them. So it's like lit really unevenly. I think this occurs when there's both shroud and mist or dust or like some, maybe even a third layer of lighting. The buildings just look like super grayed out, and it's not just me either. Like you can look at Giant Grant Games' review as well, and when you look at the infernals on his screen, they're also exactly the same thing. Buildings specifically. Anyway, 3 out of 10. You guys starting to see a pattern here? Mission 4 follows it. This is a stupidly easy mission on normal, but when we head to brutal, it's more of the same. The beginning and the middle are the hectic, but once you've cleared out all the bases and you've dodged your nukes, you just walk directly through the end of the map in unceremonious fashion. There's honestly some very serious clarity issues in here too. Like, you're being nuked, but the dialogue, like, isn't super clear that you're being nuked or where you're being nuked. You just kind of have to, like, see the big red circle wherever it is. And the minimap doesn't, like, make it clear either. It just feels completely underbaked.
Anybody in that area, clear out now.
Their history.
What area, bro? What area, bro?
What next?
Our forces are under
Awaiting further
attack.
orders.
Like, show it when you say it.
What next? Give me the rundown.
I don't know if the characters' dialogue just don't quite line up here. All I know is that it really should have been obvious. Imagine if you were in that Wings of Liberty mission with the giant wall of fire progressively heading towards you, and the level just doesn't bother telling you that there's a giant wall of fire coming or ever pan to it. And then you just look to your left and like the woods are just burning down on their way towards you. It's kind of sad because at this point you can kind of start to see a trend where the content is there. It's really just that like the pacing is just really holding the first half of this campaign back. It's a 4 out of 10 for me on this one. Alrighty. Mission 5. Mission 5 is probably the most insane miss I have ever had in an RTS. I've ever seen in an RTS. And this is actually what I wrote directly after I finished this mission. Take a look. Like, what's the right way to phrase this in a way that makes the most sense? This has to be the biggest miss in RTS history from a level design perspective. The setup time at the beginning of this mission is only part of the problem. You see, you have infinite time to set up with absolutely no reason not to take all 3 bases and start the map with 300 supply worth of units and then climb to the top of the tower from there. I was actually so incredulous. I had to go back and watch the footage again just now just to make sure. And they really do just let you do that. Is this brutal? If that's what you want to call this. Yeah, this is brutal. Like, I could literally just leave and go eat food. My wife's making pizza right now and it smells amazing. And I'm stuck in here making sure my hoplites don't go up in front. There are 2 or 3 times as many enemies on normal than on normal. I have to stop this so I can look right into the camera. So there's like 3 enemies instead of 1. Yeah, it's like there's none. What do you mean? There's the multiple of 1 is why is 3 whole times, bro? What's even happening? Nina, we don't ask questions here. This is gaming, and we don't ask questions when we are gaming. Okay, this is high octane gameplay. Can't you tell? Then, I shit you not, you stand at the top of this tower for like 10 straight minutes while the map trickles 1 unit at a time up at you on either side. At one point, on brutal, I had 1 Lancer, 1 dude at the bottom of the ramp fighting off literally the entire way. By himself. We're gonna get right in there. We're gonna dig down and we're gonna get right in there. I'm not mauling, but this is. The dude is alone. On brutal. And then, in the last 2 minutes, with breakneck pace, you have to close 3 destructible rocks on all 3 sides or kill the Metatron spawners yourself. Yes, that's the name. The Metatron.
We are Metatron. Interlopers be warned. Transgress at your home. Flee now or face annihilation.
Then, the mission sends the final boss at you, and he just unceremoniously dies to 300 supply of you. Oh. This is the curve for this stupid mission. Once again, it's all here. Solid setting, interesting objectives, but having infinite setup time on brutal absolutely criminal. And even if you did just run straight to the top, so few units spawn, it's like barely even worth looking. Like literally the biggest danger to my own units was that my Lancers, the dude with the swords, they have an upgrade where they hop towards my opponent. So like they get stuck down at the bottom. Like if I could have just held position them, I could have just gotten up and just left my computer for 10 minutes. In its current state, this mission's a 3 out of 10. And honestly, I could put it lower. Ah, yes. The closer. It's mission 6. It's the end of the first half. Here we have a solid stealth mission. It's got good achievements. You've got to run around infiltrating enemy bases and then take over their turrets and then claim the bases as your own. Sure, the end's a little easy once you've taken out 2 of the opposing bases, but it's not too bad. And there's multiple ways to play, right? And the stealth sections actually, get progressively tougher if you choose to do the stealth. Then we get to the surprise boss fight, of which I wrote the following. Oh, did you think I was joking? Did you think I was kidding? Maybe I was just detracting. Or perhaps I was exaggerating? You know what? Nish, roll the clip. Wait, if I don't click anything, do I win? Now I have to know. I think we will die, right? No, we will die, right? Right?
This war's bad enough without humans fighting each other. Wish this could have gone a different way.
These traitors got what was coming to them.
Hey guys, I drew this sick graph, bro. Do you guys remember this graph? Gah! Before we move on to the story, let's address this nugget of gold posted on r/StormGate from a Frost Giant dev on Discord. Here we have a Frost Giant dev talking about how some people found this campaign incredibly difficult and how Wings of Liberty was easy on Brutal for more experienced players, which I just fundamentally disagree with, okay? As a small tangent. I've played through the campaign several times on Brutal, and there are missions that to this day still give me trouble. It's ridiculous to say that there are not difficult missions. Are there easy missions? Sure, but are there not difficult missions that, with steep curves? There are absolutely missions with steep curves. So the problem with the difficulty of the first half of this campaign is not that it's like easy or difficult in an absolute sense. It's that the difficulty is incredibly uneven. It's just incredibly poorly paced. Like, this is intro to game design. You should follow this kind of curve for pacing. Like, it's not an exact science, but each mission should generally increase in intensity over time. Obviously, multi-phase missions should have a bit of chill in between phases, but then go back to higher levels of intensity once that chill period is over. When you get a strong start in the first 6 missions in this campaign, you're almost guaranteed to succeed. And not the earned kind, but the cheap kind. Like the kind that comes with a participation trophy. I know this section seems very doom and gloom, but there is a ray of sunshine here. I think the issues in the first 6 missions should actually be fairly easily solvable. In fact, Frost Giant has already shown in the last 6 missions that they're perfectly capable of making missions that actually do have good pacing. My personal theory is that the second set of missions got iterated on more and were designed from the ground up when the team had more experience. With another pass, I genuinely think that the first set of missions can actually, get up to snuff with the second half of the campaign, gameplay-wise. Though I cannot say the same for the story.
This is the time to fight! With every damn thing we've got!
Not bad. Not good.
Hell yes.
Okay. And we've gone.
Here, here.
Oh my god. Oh.
We're with you.
Oh boy. Every single word that I'm about to say is my opinion.
Huh?
Which I guess the whole thing is, but for some reason, I felt like I really needed to say that before I was this negative. Look, I'm not a difficult to please guy when it comes to story. I will gladly sit through a shitty rom-com with the wife, gladly sit through a mediocre Marvel movie. I'll gladly watch a 5 out of 10 sitcom that never should have been greenlit. Hell, I'll even get sucked into reality TV, which is complete garbage.
You know how I feel. Why would you say that? Like, you put me in such an uncomfortable situation. Like, you know I'm not happy. You know I'm trying to see if it'll work out here, and I know that it's not.
It happens. There are so many times I sat in my chair uncomfortably, just unable to believe that anyone thought a human being could actually say any of these lines. And I still can't even believe that somebody actually wrote them.
Here, here.
In the first 6 missions, it's just extremely tough to get past Tara's incredibly stiff voice acting performance. Every line is just delivered like their VA got like half an attempt. So many times, Amara just gives literally the wrong emotion for a situation. And do not get me started on what is like probably the worst execution of a love triangle I have literally ever seen. At one point, it becomes a love square between a bland protagonist, an eventual incel, the boy band cowboy, and a guy brought into the plot just to die. Refer to this detailed diagram that I have drawn here to illustrate the layers of the cringe in this campaign. As you can see, the cringe begins with the voice acting. If somehow you can see past that, or you're listening to some lines that aren't delivered poorly, especially in the second half of the campaign, then you have to actually perceive the dialogue, which just feels also uncannily cringe. Now, if, bless your soul, the dialogue that you're hearing is well delivered, and the dialogue is also well written, then you get to discover that the lore and setting, they're just okay. So at its best, if you get past the cringe, it's okay. There are so many just WTF moments during this campaign, it's impossible to list them all without making this video unwatchable, so here are a few.
One thing that seems to work well, though, is beryllium. There's more testing to be done, but it could be an Achilles heel.
Now you're speaking my language.
Glad to hear. Wanna grab a celebratory drink later?
Thanks, but, I've got other things.
Oh, yeah, of course. Maybe some other time. Really, whenever. Okay, be seeing you.
Everything will be fine. You know how I know? 'Cause when 2 headstrong women set their minds on something, there is no stopping them.
You're damn straight. I'll be on the comms to help any way I can.
You're really worried about her.
Damn right I'm worried. What about it?
Oh, nothing. You know, I didn't know if you were worried because the two of you were, you know.
Is that jealousy I detect, lover boy? I'm not gonna have to shoot you, am I?
Oh,
Relax, kidding. Or was I?
There's also several times in this campaign where the spoken dialogue does not match either fully or partially the text displayed on stream.
So how do we get in?
Fleet techs have identified a blind spot in echelon defenses that will serve as our entry point. Once inside, you'll need to override the power core in order to download the databanks.
Sounds dicey.
Huh?
But worth it.
Now, for a lot of people, this might not be forgivable. And maybe it's just not in my taste, but I was streaming with hundreds of viewers, and honestly, they seemed as surprised and cringed out as I was. Even if you could somehow look past all this, though, I don't think you can look past Frost Giant's incredible usage of the Deus Ex Machina here. On at least 3 major occasions, seemingly completely random major events occur just to move the plot along. There's no warning, there's no buildup, nothing. They just happen.
What's this?
I don't know.
Admiral Moore commends you on the success of your mission.
You came here just to tell us that?
No, we're here to take possession of those carriers.
What?
We didn't risk our asses for these things just so you could waltz in and take them.
The carriers are now property of the Admiral's elite corps. We have our orders.
Orders my ass!
Stand down! Riker! Stand down!
This makes no sense to you? Yeah, so story kind of sucked. Sure. Like, that was so random. Absolutely no lead-in for that.
It's gone.
Mara, I'm sorry. We got here too late. Wars took it.
It's
What?
So this is where the action is.
Who the f is this guy?
Logo!
raise hell.
Yeah, we told the Admiral to stuff it, but you were already gone. Picked up the transmission. And all my Vipers. Plus the Avenging Angels.
Can't wait to see how this f***ing guy dies.
How can we help?
This is just bad writing. We should have at least some indication that there's a plot afoot, or, you know, that these parties are missing, or, you know, that they even exist. The only part of the story I liked came from an ally turned antagonist. It was a turn you very much expected, but the delivery from the VA was pretty good, and I thought the whole sequence was pretty fun.
Attention all teams. As you undoubtedly know by now, we have accomplished what we came to do. We came with the best of intentions to assess the state of the world. That assessment is now complete. Most important of all, we have the key. It has always been about the key, for it will undoubtedly save countless lives. But Earth...
Oh no.
Earth is beyond saving.
Based.
What?
Based.
No.
Based.
No, no.
Based,
We will
based,
take the
based,
key.
based.
We will fix it, and we will ensure that the Infernals never attack our home. Our only home.
God damn it, I knew it.
All Raptor teams will report immediately to the SDF Vanguard. Our work here is done. We are leaving.
Did I mention the off-screen plot? Yeah, so the 2 majors I can think of is that the big Arculus thingy, the artifact that you have, is having, like, you know, telepathic conversations with us, which you only learn about through tertiary dialogue. Happens multiple times, by the way. Oh yeah, and don't forget this incredible moment.
Hey, hang in there. Stick with me. It's over, buddy. That doc went nuts. Tried to stop him, but...
Yeah, that happens off screen. Just imagine. Okay, you're playing Wings of Liberty, and the entire Zeratul section is just boiled down to that conversation that you have with the Spectre, okay? Yeah, so like Zeratul showed me some crazy prophecy, and it was a wild trip, bro, but like now we gotta go, and we gotta, like, you know, save Kerrigan, bro. Or if the scene with Dr. Hansen turning into a Zergling was just like, yeah, man, like, you were gone and she just went crazy, wild. Oh yeah. Then there's where we get to literally watch the final boss fight, the final big bad, dies in a fucking cutscene. Why is that bad? Let's review some classic games, shall we? Bring it up, Nish.
An age
of fracture.
You know, I think that's enough right there. For a studio strapped for cash, you'd think just slapping the units you already have made into a cheeky little level and just letting us smack the shit out of the final boss would just be the better solution. But no, what we got was a underbaked, undercooked, uninspiring cutscene. And that serves as the final thing that you get to see in the StormGate campaign. This moment represents everything I hate about this campaign's story.
I will make them pay. I waited
Here,
for
here.
Nomad, get clear.
Not yet.
I grew up on standard. I drove stick for like 10 years. What is that effect? What is that effect? No. You don't fight him? You don't fight him? You don't fight him? No. Okay. Oh, dude, guys, are we ready for the greatest romance of all time? I'm calling it. Sexual tension in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah? What can I do for you, squad leader?
Banging, dude.
Well, Commander, I want to know more about Malok.
All right. Given my scathing take on the plot, you'd think I'd be telling you not to buy it. Honestly, though, you can skip almost all of the dialogue, which is exactly what I would have done if I'd realized there was no achievement for talking to everybody, and it's exactly what I would tell you to do. I think an accurate analogy to describe this campaign's dialogue and story is that it's like a musician that had 2 decent songs and padded their album with 28 other tracks just because that's what they thought they needed to do. I'm going to pretend that there are 2 kinds of people: gameplay enjoyers and plot enjoyers. For the gameplay enjoyers, I play the first 3 missions since they're free. And if you find you're enjoying yourself, I think the campaign's a buy. Sure, the first half is weaker than the second half. But if you find that you're having a reasonable time with the first 3 missions, I mean, they only get better from there. I also think that they're going to drastically improve the first half given the time because, I mean, they just need to be tuned. All of the content is there. The second half is just a good RTS experience, even on normal. I can't really deny it. I think they cooked. The pacing is much improved. The concepts are interesting. There's not that much tedium, and I just had a good time. It has to be addressed, though, that Tim Morton just recently posted the following on LinkedIn, and this campaign is always online. I really wanted to avoid saying anything about Frost Giant directly, but in the event of them not securing more funding or not selling enough copies, I think it's relevant for your purchasing decision. That said, though, I mean, the devs have explicitly stated in interviews that putting the campaign offline is a thing they want to do. I asked for clarification on Reddit if that would be accelerated in the event that things look grim, but it went with no response. If it were me and I hadn't backed it, I'd probably still buy it, but this is not one I was just going to let sit in the Steam library. I'd play it ASAP. You know, it's tough to find like new RTS campaigns to play these days, and I think that aside from the story, there's just a lot to like here. For the plot enjoyers, though, it should come as absolutely no surprise that this is a massive pass. Unless you're chill with just skipping as much of the dialogue as humanly possible, or feel that this enters into so bad it's good territory where you really just like to watch unintentionally bad content. Anyway, that's it for now.